This could be special. 3 big title fights coming on Saturday fight night. They should all be crackers. And we're probably in for another little whiff of controversy too. Domestic honours might just be the start for Nicky Booth. The blend's a winning one. Smooth, stylish and entertaining.
Oh, and there was... Just looked sagged a moment there, didn't he? He's hurt, you know. You get the feeling that somebody's got to give it his fluid. It was the body shot that did it!
Booth claimed his own Lonsdale belt with a classic dual title defence against Stephen Oates.
I've never seen anything quite like this from the champion. Goodness me.
But now in international class, he defends his Commonwealth crown against Canada's hot prospect, Steve Molitor. When Johnny Armour and Francis Ampofo met for the first time, it turned into one of the domestic dust-ups of the year.
Big right gets through from Ampofo, but he gets rocked by a right hand himself. This is the kind of tear-up people expected.
It was Armour's night, but it was easy to see why Ampofo felt hard done by. When they met again, Ampofo was left wondering if he'd ever get the verdict.
There's a real relentlessness about what Ampofo's doing here.
Johnny Armour!
He thinks he's been robbed. Glenn and I agree.
They meet for the 3rd time tonight at Bantamweight in what's become one of Britain's bitterest rivalries. Colin Dunn's confronted controversy too. In January, he held on to his lightweight title with a hotly disputed points win over Martin Jacobs, but it looked like Dunn's days at the top were numbered. Then he bounced back against Wayne Rigby.
It's the old Colin Dunn we're seeing here. Now the left hook, tremendous shot. It was one of his best ever performances.
Now Dunn looks for a win over Esteban Morales of Colombia, and he wants to show us all he's true world class. You get the idea that emotions might overrun here tonight. Spencer Oliver's main task is to keep us all under control. Spencer, just a word first about Colin Dunn and Johnny Armour, lightweight and bantamweight, respectively starting here. Do you consider them the best in their divisions in Britain now?
I think that Colin has certainly proved that he's the best in Britain at the moment. I mean, Bobby Vanzi may contest that, but he's certainly proved that he's a worthy #1 at the moment in Britain.
And what about the bantamweight Armour?
Johnny Armour, I mean, I thought the 2 fights he's had against Ampofo, we know have been real classics, fights of the year. I feel that Ampofo won those contests, but Armour got the result, so this one is bound to be a classic.
Armour's 33 years of age. In action here tonight first, 22 years old, Nicky Booth, the reigning British and Commonwealth bantamweight champion. Is he the future?
Nicky Booth is always good for entertainment, puts up some excellent contests, but on a real tough one here against Steve Molitor, the Canadian, another hot up-and-coming prospect.
What's impressed you about Booth as he's risen through the ranks, Spencer?
Just he showed a lot of grit, a lot of determination, and phenomenal work rate as well. I mean, started off his career very slowly, had a win and a loss against a journeyman, Anthony Hanna, and then really turned it around from the night that he picked up that British title when he come in as a late substitute.
And is he an example, Spencer, of a man who has grown into the role, grown in confidence since establishing himself in title class?
Certainly, like I said, he come in as a late substitute, picked up the title from Tommy Waite, and since then has gone on from strength to strength. I mean, you see some real classics against Stephen Oates. We saw there, Stephen Oates, that was a real classic, one of the best fights I've seen this year.
Nicky Booth in quite scintillating fashion with a display of non-stop punching and aggression, retains his title.
Fine entertainment so far, but he knows that he's in for perhaps the toughest test of his career tonight against Molitor, the young Canadian.
Yeah, it's going to be a good challenge. He's Canadian champion, so I've heard. He's southpaw. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get in there. It's going to be good.
It's a big step for whoever wins this fight, which will be me, but it's definitely a big step. You know, we're both up-and-coming rising stars, and it's a risk for both of us, but for me, it'll be a reward.
I'm going to win, and then hopefully go for the world and then win that, and then carry on winning and winning and winning, because like I say, sky's the limit, innit?
That one coming up shortly here to get us underway with a wonderful lineup of title action for the Commonwealth bantamweight title. Booth all set to go backstage against Steve Molitor. We're all very excited here, but some veterans who've seen all the prospects are waiting to speak to Adam Smith. Are they as excited as we are at ringside?
Absolutely, very, very interesting boxing night here at Brentwood. I mean, Armour Ampofo for the 3rd time, and Colin Dunn with a tricky defence of his WBU title coming up. Plenty to keep us all in store here.
Well, most of Colin Dunn's defences are tricky because he loves split decisions, he loves going on the floor, he loves getting up from the floor. Let's just hope we see the sharp Colin Dunn tonight.
And then Nicky Booth against Steve Molitor coming up, the Canadian who's fancies his chances at southpaw and could give Booth a rough ride here.
Well, I actually admire Nicky Booth for taking this fight because he's fighting a guy who has definitely come to win. We've got a cute southpaw in Molitor, and his camp actually, they strongly fancy this fight. Don't be surprised if they're not in for a big surprise tonight from them.
And Booth never in a dull fight.
never in a dull moment. You can imagine him in the gym selling tickets. Kid always pleases.
Can't wait for this one.
And we're all set to go. Dunn, Armour, Ampofo, all big fan clubs, so no surprise we have a sellout crowd at the Brentwood Leisure Centre in Essex tonight. And I mean a sellout. They're queuing outside. Too late. They won't get in, I'm afraid. Commentary team are in place at ringside. Glenn McCrory and Ian Dark, and our Master of Ceremonies, John MacDonald.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get the action underway. Would you please welcome to the ring now, the Canadian Kid, Steve Molitor.
Well, this 22-year-old from Canada represents a very, very significant test, I think, for Nicky Booth. He's the same age, 22. He's unbeaten in 12 fights so far. He was a very good amateur, and he's come here full of expectation. Trained by Lennox Lewis's old amateur coach, Adrian Teodorescu, in Toronto. Apparently he's a very bright lad. He's been trying to keep his training routines a bit of a secret from the cameras, and he expects to go back with the Commonwealth title again.
Well, you've got to expect him to be pretty good. He's been brought up the right way. The difference between him and Nicky Booth, although they're both at this stage in their careers, he's come through the tough way, the well-schooled way, as a world-class amateur. And really, that's the difference between the two here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the champion from Nottingham, once more, Nicky Booth.
In case you're wondering about that nickname, One Smooth, his brother is Jason, and he's called Two Smooth. So we get it, don't we?
Well, it took a bit of explaining to you, but he's doing the business. He's coming along very well indeed. 22 years of age. He really has just jumped in class and got better and better, and throws so many punches. Really is good to watch.
He is exciting fighter, an improving fighter, Nicky Booth, and gave Alex Armour a bit of a run for his money in the voting for the British Young Boxer of the Year. There's a few defensive flaws that make his fights that much more watchable. You're never quite sure what's going to happen next. There's his brother Jason. Good flyweight. At the top of the tree as well domestically. But this is a risky-looking defence for Booth, and that much more interesting because of the risk factor.
Yes, I think so. There is a risk factor, but that only brings the best out of him so far in his career. He's just grown in stature and maturity, and he'll be looking to do that here.
He's giving Molitor the eyeball treatment as he gets into the ring. Here's the tail of the tape for this one, for the Commonwealth Bantamweight Championship. They're both 22 youngsters on the way up in the business. Molitor, that little bit taller, very minuscule reach advantage for him. Booth made the 8 stone 6 pounds with 1.5 pounds to spare. Molitor half a pound inside. So comfortable for both, which is good to hear, really. You'd hope so anyway. Molitor a pro for only a couple of years, Booth since 1998. He's had that few more fights, a bit more experienced. Nicky Booth has come through a few hard ones and prevailed most of the time, except when he came apart against Jose San Juanelo, a Colombian southpaw, and tonight he's up against a southpaw again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're absolutely sold out here at the Brentwood International Centre. Barry Hearn for Ringside Boxing Promotions, in association with Prince Promotions and Matchroom Sport, proudly presents a night of World Championship Boxing, sponsored by PokerMillion.com, a great game of poker. All the officials have been appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control and the Commonwealth Council here present with us at ringside. Commonwealth Supervisor appointed Mr. Simon Block, Area Representative Dave Wilson and Simon Kidd. Inspectors, Chief Inspector Mick Collier, Inspectors Dave Porter, Bob Galloway, Richard Barber and Nick Laidman. Our three medical officers here at ringside, Dr. White, Dr. Uttar and Dr. Buckland. Timekeeper at the bell from Bromley in Kent is Mr. Bob Edgeworth, and referee in charge of the action from Kent, Mr. Larry O'Connell. They are the officials, here are the contestants, and firstly, introducing to you, the challenger. He's fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red and white trunks and weighing in at 8 stone 5.5 pounds. Undefeated, 12 contests, 12 wins, 4 inside the scheduled distance. Coming to the ring as the reigning Canadian champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Canadian Kid, Steve Molitor. Yeah. And now the champion. He's wearing the silver trunks and weighed in at 8 stone 4.5 pounds, bringing a 19-fight record, 15 wins, 6 inside the scheduled distance, 3 losses, 1 draw. Coming to the ring as the reigning and defending Commonwealth Bantamweight champion. Ladies and gentlemen, he makes his 50 pence. Would you please welcome from Nottingham, once more, Nicky So, sports fans and Sky fans joining us exclusively live here on Sky Sports, you know you've joined us for the very best ringside seat in the business. Let's get the action underway. 12 rounds of boxing for the Commonwealth Bantamweight Championship.
You're both in the dressing room. Richard told him we'd get along fine. God bless. Take care. May the best man win.
Referee Larry O'Connell, who I last saw at Sandown Park on Wednesday afternoon. I hope he made more money than I did there. There's Nicky Booth. Very rarely in a bad fight. I can't remember when he was, actually. But this Steve Molitor has prepared well for this Canadian who's boxed as an amateur in the Pan Am Games, the World Championships, the World Juniors. He's got some pedigree, and he's a southpaw. Straight away, cracks in a useful-looking left hand. Makes you wonder just how much the Booth camp know about Molitor, who has more of a reach advantage than first appeared by the look of things. He looks quite gangling almost, doesn't he, for a bantamweight?
Yes, he does, but I think Booth also, he fights out of a crouch. He keeps his stance very wide, so he loses his height. So Molitor will have a good height and reach advantage.
Booth, who's a happy-go-lucky, ebullient, extrovert kind of character, doesn't worry about much, and here's the pressure from him straight away. Can Molitor cope with it away from home? That's what we wonder. He did beat the veteran Scotty Olsen this year. Had a knockout win in 3 rounds too against a guy from the Dominican Republic who was pretty old, and then a points win over a Venezuelan who fought for the WBA flyweight title in the past. But I would venture to suggest that Booth is a much more live opponent than any of those.
Well, he is, and that's why he's a champion.
Look at that, left hand from Molitor, cracking shot, and there's the danger. Nicky Booth down in the first round. Now this is a confident kid, and there are the warning signs straight away.
Well, he's the champion, but down already, and that is the warning signs of someone who already looks pretty much a class act.
Is it going to happen again to Nicky Booth when he moves into a slightly higher international level, as he did with Jose San Juanelo, that Colombian southpaw? Got found out that night, but not properly prepared, and here having trouble with Molitor's style and class in this first round. So there's work to do here, all right.
Well, he's been boxed from long range. He needs really to get in close and put some pressure on.
Good body shot from Molitor. Doesn't have a great knockout record. 4 of his wins, 4 of the 12 inside schedule. But he's had Booth on the floor early here. But Booth has got up to win before. Again, good body shot from Molitor, who fights out of Toronto. Remember, he's handled by Lennox Lewis, his old amateur coach. That's better from Booth. Best shot so far.
Well, he's showing the class, you know, that the trainer's brought with him. Very good, smooth skills, but Booth has really got to get in close and just take the fight out of him and, you know, drag him into the trenches a bit.
He'll be that more battle-hardened Booth, but an interesting opening round. And Booth says something to Molitor at the end of it. Don't think it was an invitation for a night out.
You're going in straight line. You're not young, you're not rolling in it, yeah? Right, and listen, you're looking for power shots.
Here's the knockdown, Clem.
Yep, good right to the body, and then, good left to the body, and then a straight left through the middle. 2 good shots. And really nice, classy shots to throw. You don't really expect, you know, he led there with a body shot and then brought it to the head and put him on the floor with, you know, not often you get away with stuff like that.
It's quite interesting that they brought this Canadian to Britain to fight. You'd think they'd be rearing him in Canada, but his brother is on a murder charge back home at the moment. They're probably just quite happy to be overseas with him for the time being.
Yeah, they just want to get some space and get him to learn his game.
Second round, Booth in the silver trunks, the red and white of the so-called Canadian kid, Steve Molitor. 22, 12-0 so far in a professional career lasting only 2.5 years. Good body shots from Booth, who seems none the worse for his experience of visiting the canvas in the opening session. But will it happen again? He's been down in 4 fights, now 5 fights in his career, Booth.
Well, that's the way he fights. He makes it exciting one way or another, but he's got to get involved more, take the fight to Molitor,
who seems to be making a particular target of the body. I think Booth does have extra trouble with southpaws, which is perfectly understandable. Good right hand, didn't see where it was coming from really, Booth there. Molitor looking quite sharp and confident. But this goes 12 rounds, not just 4. And Booth may be playing a long game of pressure.
And Molitor using the ring well behind that southpaw jab, skipping in and out of range and coming with nice, classy shots.
Looks well schooled, doesn't he?
Very well schooled. You know, just that bit of class that obviously has took him through the amateur game.
And I don't think it'll worry him fighting away from home. He went to Argentina to fight in the World Juniors, and will have travelled abroad as well in the Canadian best, I'm sure, on many occasions. Fought once against Ireland in a triple international involving the USA as well. Good shots again from him. They've got a very high opinion of him over there in Toronto. He's talking to his trainer beforehand, and he said, without a word of bragging, I think we're going to win. We've looked at Booth, we think we're going to win, and I think he was just being honest.
Well, the thing about Booth is he's very determined and game, and he's got to use that strength and tenacity to get himself in this fight.
Just being outboxed a little at the moment, though, Nicky Booth. Rams in another left hand, Molitor, and then a short, just changing the range of the jab all the time. Sometimes a long one, sometimes a bit shorter, whipping in another left as well. And Booth at the moment struggling to really sustain the kind of pressure that he trades in. Well, he's in a tough one here, all right. Nottingham's Nicky Booth. He's certainly lost the first couple of rounds, I'd say, Glenn.
Yes, he has. His brother there looking on a little bit more worried about what's going on.
Since losing to Jose Manelo, Booth's come back with 3 wins against Jim Betts, Stephen Oates in a real thriller, and Moses Kinyua, a Kenyan, who he beat in 5 rounds. Looked good doing it all as well. But is he going to be one of those fighters who won't just be able to make the next step up? Let's see how he copes with this. Molitor showing a good repertoire of shots. There's another one of them for you, the left hand. Classy little right hooks as well from him.
Does look to go to the body quite a lot, Molitor. Obviously feels that the weakness there favours that left hand, and obviously there's a big gap where he can get that into the body of Booth.
Look at the classy way he got himself out of trouble there as well. It's Booth's job to dent the ring of confidence that this young Canadian is brought to the ring here in Brentwood tonight.
Well, that's really what he's got to do. He's got to take him into a fight like he's never been before. He'll test him mentally and physically.
Much the pulling down. Little warning there for Booth from Larry O'Connell. Nice little hook on the inside there from Booth. Molitor not letting him get set.
Well, that's the key that he's got to do as a good boxer. He'll keep that jab going out, keep the different punches coming in.
The problem for Booth is he tries to close the range. He just gets picked off with punches as he does so, and just imperceptibly switching the angles. Quite cleverly, Molitor, who looks distinctly handy early on here. Whether he can sustain this, if this goes long, is another question.
Well, that's the key. How can he carry on in this fight? Started very well, but he's trying to get close, trying to take the fight to Molitor.
It was an interesting fight for them to take for Nicky Booth. They obviously thought he'd be able to cope with it all right, because the promoter's trick is to keep your fellow winning, of course. But at the moment, the news from Essex tonight is that Molitor is getting much the better of the argument. Booth wants to talk to him after the round. I don't know why. So do stay with us tonight. You wouldn't want to miss that one if you're a boxing fan. But even if you're not. 5th round of this one.
Yeah, I got the 4th level. I just thought he was dropping off a little bit with his warrior Molitor. Booth trying to get into it a bit, but still a good lead, 4 points ahead this early.
And the knockdown in the first round. Booth down. I've given every round so far to the Canadian. This is the 5th. Booth with plenty to do. I'm sure he came here tonight full of confidence as usual. I suppose if there's a weakness in his makeup, and he has got more serious about the business in recent times, he may just have a little bit too much self-belief. I think it was certainly the case when he fought Manelo. I'm sure the homework was all it could have been for that one.
Well, he's still trying to force Molitor on the ropes and keep the pressure on Booth.
Starting to get there, Booth. This is better from him. starting to exert his pressure, and Molitor having to fight at closer range here, toe-to-toe, which is where he might not want to be, particularly. Booth driving forward. And there's still a long way to go, which will maybe just worry the Canadian corner a little bit. This is encouraging for Booth, that he's now just starting to ram home some of the body shots and the odd right hand, and Molitor not looking quite as elusive, and then another right hand catches him.
Also Molitor throwing these combinations, hitting a lot on the arms and gloves of Booth, and Booth starting to get into the body of Molitor.
So Molitor is still a relatively inexperienced fighter, with only 12 pro bouts behind him. Lots of amateur experience, of course. How will he cope if Booth does take this into the trenches? Better defence there from Booth. Took those on the gloves. Molitor's just picked it up a little bit in the second half of the round.
Yes, he's had to do that. Nice uppercut going in from him there. He knows he's got to up the worker in Molitor, because Booth is rolling forward still.
Booth's best round, I thought. Stadium. Yep, it's a good fight, this one, and a real test for Nicky Booth. I think Molitor did feel the weight of some of Booth's body punches in that last round. And still a long, long way to go in this. Only just moving into the second half of the fight. Canadian in red. Booth defending his Commonwealth crown. Molitor bidding to become the 5th Canadian to hold this title, following Frankie Martin, Baby Yak, Johnny Gaudes, and the splendidly named Lefty Gwynn, who sounds like a character from a B movie.
Well, he started this round pretty good. Molitor looking to plant his feet and try and trade with Booth. And finding some nice punches.
Can Booth start to nail and hammer the body of the young Canadian?
Still these classy counters from Molitor. Looking to find out the gaps in the defense of Booth.
He's quite clever too, isn't he, at extricating himself from little pockets on the ropes.
Very clever. You know, he just alters the distance and alters the height, you know, by bending the knees and moving from side to side, and does it so well.
He's got a ring craft which suggests a fighter who's had far more than 12 pro fights. That's a lovely right hand too, picking the shots quite exquisitely at times. Just a question, I think, really, of whether he will hold it together over the full 12-round distance. If he does, I think it's a big problem technically here for Nicky Booth. He gets there with his right to the body. And again, Molitor, though, comes back with 2 of his own into the rib cage. Good left hand from Booth. Molitor just being caught a bit more as the rounds have gone on. Molitor's a long way ahead, but it's not a formality, is it?
It's not a formality. You know, it's all about strength, and as we go into the final rounds, Molitor doesn't look as strong as Booth. He's a lot classier, but Booth's got to make his extra strength and experience tell.
There's a right hand on the inside from Booth there.
Very classy there with the uppercut and the right hook. Molitor really boxing well there.
Molitor just starting to open up a little on Booth there. Talented operator. Now they're touching gloves, not snarling at each other. In fairness, Booth doing the snarling. 10th round. Molitor a long way ahead. That's how it looks to us at ringside anyway, with his very smooth boxing out of the southpaw style. Been a terrific performance from him. And he doesn't look like a guy who's only had 12, does he?
No, he doesn't. And you know, he's only 22 years of age, just 12 fights behind him, so the future looks bright for Molitor. Still got to finish this one off in style.
Just in at another level, Nicky Booth here. Last Canadian to win a Commonwealth title in Britain was Tony Pep against Paul Harvey back in 1992 at super featherweight. 10 years ago. Pep lost that title in Britain as well in the reign in Cardiff, as I remember it. Can Booth lift it? Take a body shot, then a right hand and another left from Steve Molitor, who's not earning big bucks out of the business yet. In fact, he works part-time as an assistant manager at a Toronto restaurant. That's the way it is for most fighters. On the way through anyway. This is better from Booth. Sudden burst from him. Best in a long while. Three-punch combination. Not over yet then.
Well, he finally found something. That's what he needs. He's digging deep into the reserves. Nicky Booth, can he come out with something now? Maybe he's just sensing that Molitor is starting to tire.
Little uppercut from Molitor, but Booth is lifting himself and showing real champion's gutsiness in doing it too. Just when Molitor looked to be almost in a comfort zone of control.
Getting that classy uppercut from Molitor, but Booth trying to push forward, trying to get shots off.
Good stuff this from Booth. He's changed the mood here. Trying to walk through these shots and really nail Molitor and negate everything that's gone on before. And look at Molitor standing. He staggers him with the right hand. Is Booth in trouble now? Molitor had him there. Crisis for Booth.
Now Molitor showing the character.
This is some round, isn't it? Booth gave it everything he had. Molitor took it all and came back with a very good right hand. Best round of the fight.
We've got 2 rounds left, Nick.
We've got 2 rounds left. It's got like that last minute one.
Right. Yeah. Shot me non-stop.
Well, here's the attack from Booth. Just picked himself up. Maybe felt that Molitor was tiring a bit and showed real guts and determination and fired off with those punches. Just gritting the teeth and letting the shots fly out. Molitor shows his own character and comes throwing back with good solid shots and letting a volley of punches go there. Still that uppercut working so well for Molitor.
Shouldn't be too much doubts about Molitor's stamina. He's been 12 with Silvio Luzon in the past and 10 with Jose de Jesus Lopez in his last fight. Let's go into the corner of Nicky Booth. Jason Schoenfeld's over there with Ed Robinson.
Well, Jason, it seems that Nicky's title is slipping away.
Yeah, I think he's a good couple of rounds down at the minute.
What advice are you giving him in the corner?
We need him to close him down, basically. But Molitor's not like him working on the inside. He's only throwing 2s and 3s. He's getting caught on his way in. But the trouble was in the first round, he got caught at distance. So Nicky's trying to make the fight. Molitor's just picking him off with counter-punching.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep, wouldn't argue with any of that, would you, Glenn?
No, that pretty much sums it up. Just the better skills from Molitor, and who's still trying to get inside.
Step the margin. He reckons he's a couple of rounds behind it. I think it's more than that.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ian. 6 on my card in favour of Molitor.
Was that Booth's last stand in that last round, or has he got more? Can he make this a very long 6 minutes for Steve Molitor? He's shown some character here, Nicky Booth, in the face of superior boxing technique, it has to be said.
Yes, very good technique, but I think the stats prove it that Molitor not the biggest puncher in the world, even though he did have Booth down. He's pretty much a boxer.
You question Molitor's man strength. Do you want to reconsider that?
No, I still think that's something he's got to work on. He's got to strengthen up. He's very much on the back foot, good movement, good hand skill, and you need a little bit more now when you go for bigger honours.
We'll see as the jigsaw fits itself together about his boxing makeup. He's shown plenty here tonight. He's just outboxed Booth, put simply. Good right hand through the middle from Booth. Molitor seems untroubled and finds a very classy looking left hand of his own. I think he has been hurt a bit to the body, Molitor. But only here and there.
Well, Booth has to really try and get a rally going. He has to start throwing his own shots.
Molitor will be aware that he's away from home here. And he'll want to do this so it's quite beyond dispute. There's a lovely left uppercut that seemed to just hurt Booth again. Booth nodded at him as if to say, yeah, good shot, right at the end of the round. Well, punches landed, 2-2-4, plays 1-7-7. It's, well, there's 3 minutes left in the fight, and I think we can say, without fear of contradiction, that Nicky Booth needs a knockout.
Yes, most definitely. He really does. He's got to, he's got to start throwing a lot more shots. There's just 3 minutes to go, and he's really got to go for it. Both completed the 12 rounds one time, although Booth's scheduled for 12, a few more.
And I bet they're thinking, aren't they, Jason and Mike Shinfield, where do they get this play from?
I bet they are. It's been hard for Booth all the way through. He's never really got himself in this fight up to this point.
Here's the final round of it. Booth looks to his fans and he gives it a hug this time to Molitor. That's good to see. All that silly verbals from Booth early on forgotten now, and he's conducting himself with great dignity and sportsmanship. But he's got a job to do in this next 3 minutes. Otherwise, I think he's going to have to say goodbye to his Commonwealth Championship, if not the British title he also holds. Can he make a dent in Steve Molitor in this last session?
Well, he's just got to throw caution to the wind for me and just go for broke and try and land a shot.
A little body shot, the left hand on the inside from Booth. The Canadian corner just to our right. I'm sure I've got one eye on the clock as well. Little left cross from Molitor. He's quite happy to stand and trade now with Booth. How bad a setback would this be for Nicky Booth if he is coming a cropper here, and it looks like it?
Well, it's been a tough lesson for him. He's certainly learned what it's like to be with a very good, smart boxer. He can come again, but he's just got to try and do everything he can now.
He's still got the British title, as I said. And there's talk about him fighting the winner of the Armour Ampofo fight later tonight. Why not? Good right hand from Molitor. Coming up to the last minute of this fight now. Work it, the Canadians' corner shout at Steve Molitor.
He tries to let those hands go, shots to the body and head. Booth still pushing forward, walking on to shots.
Hasn't really been able to find an answer. Lovely uppercut on the inside. Steve Molitor, I think, dreams of walking back into his restaurant with that Commonwealth belt around his waist. That'll pull in a few more customers.
All showing class in the closing stages of this fight. Molitor dishing it out again. Good shots, head and body.
Yeah, he's won it all the way, really. Booth's had his moments, but not enough of them. And it looks like Steve Molitor is going to take the Commonwealth Bantamweight Championship here tonight. He surely has won it. Booth does not even go over to Larry O'Connell. Everybody knows what's happened. Molitor is the winner and the new Commonwealth Bantamweight champion. It's a nasty reverse for an outboxed Nicky Booth.
Well, he did that in style, really was a good boxer. Excellent skills, good versatility and variation. You know, he really did do well there, and Booth just not in that class.
And I must say, refreshing to see a visiting fighter to these shores perform so well as that. One of the best fighters from overseas I think we've seen in recent times.
Yes, really was a classy operator. 257 to 192 punches landed. Sorry, 251. Success rate pretty similar, but a lot more shots for Molitor,
who I had as an 8-point winner of the fight. Remember, he had Booth down in the first round. How big was the margin? We can find out now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, rightly so, referee Larry O'Connell would like you to show your appreciation one more time for 12 fantastic rounds of boxing. And he scores the contest. Booth 112, Molitor 116, your winner, and the new Commonwealth Bantamweight champion from Canada, the Canadian kid, Steve Molitor.
8 rounds to 4 or 8 rounds to 3 with one even. That was how referee Larry O'Connell saw it. You can argue about the margin, no doubt about the winner, and that was Steve Molitor, the 22-year-old Canadian.
22, both men in fact, Spencer, but at the age of just 22 has Nicky Booth found his level tonight?
I think that he's come up against an excellent opponent tonight in Steve Molitor. He showed a tremendous boxing performance out of the southpaw style, mixed up every shot in the book, and certainly he looks a rising star for the future. Nicky Booth is back to the British scene and trying to defend his British style.
Given the level of performance from Molitor tonight, how is Booth going to get up to that level in the future? Because he is young enough.
He is young enough, but he needs to go back to school, he needs to go back to that gym, he needs to work on a lot of things. The defence of Nicky Booth is terrible, he doesn't move his waist at all. Molitor was being able to hit him with every shot in the book. He needs to go back and work in the gym, get that lateral waist moving. He's planting his feet well and letting his shots go, but there's no head movement at all, he's too easy to hit.
Thank you, Spencer. Next up here shortly, 12 rounds at bantamweight, Armour against Ampofo, and as Craig Slater reminds us, a host of scores to settle.
Just listen to the crowd. What are you attacking? A big right hand from Ampofo. Armour meets fire with fire.
I think they might have domestic fight of the year in the bag.
It was a night when boxing was a clear winner, even if the result baffled many at ringside.
Your winner, Johnny Armour.
Unbelievable.
Maybe if I get bashed up this one, I might get the decision, maybe. No, I think they just favoured Johnny Armour and that was it.
But the suggestion Ampofo was robbed has incensed the champion.
They've gave him a chance, but also they've gave me a chance to prove to people as well that I can beat this kid, and I'm going to beat him, you know, good as well.
Their first meeting was equally gruelling and similarly controversial. However, neither disputes the other's courage.
He's a very tough fighter. He's very fit as well. He's one of them fighters that don't give you enough air to breathe, you know.
I've always put up a great fight, don't matter who I fight, it's always a great fight. I hope Johnny Armour decides to stand there for toe-to-toe
Armour's literally lived in the gym to prepare, roughing it in a garret above the Peacock camp.
You're here in the gym, you eat it, sleep it. He just gave me more ideas for this fight, and it's all coming off as well.
Meanwhile, Ampofo is fighting to secure a future for his autistic son, Samson.
The boys definitely my God. Everything I do is for them, really, my children.
And with so much at stake, this time the judges may not be needed.
It means absolutely everything. Then I could just get out and say, at least I won the road.
It's a case of he wants it, I want it, but I want to keep it more than he wants it.
Spencer, these two have been through every conceivable emotion, but who is the force with going into this third meeting?
I think that it's got to be Francis Ampofo, because he must feel so bitter about the last two performances. The first one was closer than the last one, but for me, the last one, Ampofo won by 5 or 6 rounds, and that really will give him that drive. I mean, because he wants this so badly. Speaking to Francis earlier in the week, he really is desperate for this, and he's going to put everything into it.
How does Armour make all the class that he's shown through his whole career come to bear again here?
Armour's just got to go like he did in the first fight, move more, box on that back foot, keep his hands nice and tight, and just keep moving, but expect Ampofo to be pressing on hard.
And it's coming right up. Join us after this. Armour's reputation as a classy fighter goes before him. Ampofo, a superb servant to British boxing. Is it his time at last? Out at the Brentwood Leisure Centre has already seen one high-class display. Don't forget, Colin Dunn against Esteban Morales still to come. But now, the third instalment. Johnny Armour and Francis Ampofo. And here comes Ampofo, this extraordinary little man. Nothing has come his way easily, but a win could yet save his career here. This could be dramatic. John MacDonald.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the third installment. Let's meet the challenger. From Ghana and now based in Bethnal Green or East London, would you please welcome the challenger, Francis Ampofo.
The challenger, but he thinks he should be the champion. Francis Ampofo, who's now 35. 11 years since he first won the British flyweight title against Robbie Regan. 2 times the British and Commonwealth flyweight champion, and also a world title challenger against baby Jake Matlala. Only has one way to fight, going forward, throwing punches. It's an exciting style. Will it pay off for him tonight? Much loved figure in the business, Cliff.
Oh, he really is such a nice little man, and it's going to be tough for him all over again. He's got to do it one more time, twice. You know, controversially, he hasn't got the title, and now he's trying for it again. And you know, you can guarantee he'll try so much harder this time. He really will. Such a great competitor.
Hasn't won since 1999 because of various title losses. But he looks far from a shot fighter, if we're honest with you. He's got an autistic son, hence the markings there on his little gown. Autistic son, Samson. He ran the marathon once, I remember, to raise money for Samson and others suffering from autism.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the champion, the pride of Kent Chatham, Johnny Armour.
Plenty of support as well for Johnny Armour from fans who travelled through the Dartford Tunnel to be here tonight. Johnny Armour, another proud warrior, professional for 12 years. He's 33, and he says that everybody who thought he lost the other 2 fights had got it wrong. And that tonight he'll prove that he is the better man in the the third fight of this little bantamweight trilogy.
Well, you're right, he's been a very good competitor. What style will he adopt? He can fight, he can box. How is he going to prepare for this fight? How's he going to fight?
Southpaw, former Commonwealth and European champion. Only ever beaten once by a Californian, Carlos Navarro. So let's have a look at the tail of the tape for this fight. Combined age of 68, these two. Ampofo, one of the smallest pros around, 5 feet 1.5 inches. Always gives away reach, of course. Both inside the 8 stone, 6 pounds by 1/4 pound. Ampofo, a pro since 1990, Johnny Armour as well. And Ampofo's lost a lot more fights. He's lost 10 in his career. Armour's only lost 1. But their styles mix magnificently, these two.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Home for Ringside Boxing Promotions, in association with Prince Promotions and Matchroom Sport, proudly present 12 rounds of boxing for the World Boxing Union's Bantamweight Championship of the World. Sponsored here by PokerMillion.com for a great game of poker. And a very warm welcome to our viewers joining us live and exclusive here on Sky Sports. You know you've joined us for the very best ringside seat in the business. All the officials have been appointed by the World Boxing Union President John Robinson at ringside from Nordell, Norfolk, England, in association with the British Boxing Board of Control. Our supervisor, Mr. Charlie Robinson of London, and our 3 scoring judges. From Australia, Des Bloyd. From the USA, Glenn Feldman. And from South Africa, Harold Goldberg. Timekeeper at the bell from Bromley, Kent, is Mr. Bob Edgeworth. Our referee in charge of the action from Leeds, England, is Mr. Mickey Bang. They are the officials. Here are the contestants. Firstly, and introducing to you, the challenger. He's fighting out of the red corner, wearing the white trunks and weighing in at 8 stone 5 3/4 pounds. In a 27 fight record, he has 17 wins, 12 inside the scheduled distance, and 10 losses. He's the former 2-time British and Commonwealth champion. Ladies and gentlemen, he's originally from Ghana, West Africa. He's fighting out of Bethnal Green, East London. Would you please welcome Little Samson Francis Ampofo. And now, the champion. He's wearing the gold trunks trimmed with black and weighing in at 8 stone 5 3/4 pounds. In a 35 record, he has 29 wins, 17 inside the scheduled distance, and only 1 loss. He is the reigning and defending WBU Bantamweight Champion of the World, the Pride of Kent, Chatham, Johnny Armour. So let's get the action underway then. 12 rounds of boxing for the World Boxing Union's Bantamweight Championship of the World.
Well, it brings to mind some of those old domestic trilogies. Remember Pat Cowdell and Dave Needham, Dennis Andrews and Tom Collins at light heavyweight, and of course the famous Alan Minter and Kevin Finnegan fights. Mickey Van will referee this one. One of the judges is the same. It's for the last fight, Des Bloyd of Australia. He scored it level, a draw, as did 2 of the judges, and most governing bodies would have had that as a majority draw, not an Armour win. But Armour won with the 3rd judge, and under the WBU's rules, he got given the decision. Hard to understand, but there you are. And that will apply, by the way, tonight as well, should it come to that. Could be another close one. Third fight between these two. The gold trunks of Johnny Armour, the southpaw, who's trying to use his boxing skills. Will it be something different tonight? He's changed trainers since the last one. He was with Colin Moorcroft, now with Mark Rowe. And Ampofo, as ever, trying to march forward. And let's see if Armour tries to do something a little different this time.
Well, I think Armour's the one that can. He can fight in different ways, and Ampofo really just knows one way. He's come in and be busy.
Fans are really into this, you can tell. A lot of them will have watched the first two fights, either live or on television, I'm sure. Armour showing signs that he's prepared to stand his ground a little if needs be. Quite smart shots as well from Armour early on. Got to ask the question too, how much has been taken out of both of them by those first two grueling battles?
Well, that's exactly right, and they both had long careers. Who's got what left? The fights all through the careers have been tough, and they've been going around a long while. Who's got something left?
They know each other back to front, these two now, and Armour's made much the better start. Confidently snapping out his punches. Just trying to stop Ampofo marching in on him in straight lines. Body shot as well from Armour. Slow out the blocks tonight, Ampofo.
Yes, he is. Maybe he feels he's going to have a move on quicker as the fight goes on, and maybe not throw too much too early.
Got there with a left hook and then a right hand as well, which rocks back the head of Armour. That was more like what we saw from Ampofo in the last fight, and drives a right hand through the middle. Do wonder how much longer these two can keep up this magnificent action that they've been providing us with. Good stuff from Armour again there. It's not a bad start, is it, to fight number 3?
Not bad. Ampofo's starting to do a little bit more, but the better boxing still coming from Armour.
There's no dislike at all between the two fighters. There's nothing of a grudge. They're just honest pros, this, who both deserve a lot of credit. Left hand from Ampofo at the end of the round, but Armour, for me, did the sharper work. His son, his nickname is Little Samson.
Well, just love his son so much. But there, Armour landing more shots, 19 to 14. He's just the sharpest start. Just planting his feet, getting more into his punches.
Armour, a brave, determined and gutsy survivor of a series of ring wars. Does have a tendency to cut and occasionally to fight with his face. Tries to go to the body, looked a bit low. His corner is saying, make sure you get in ready. Cracking right hand, that's hurt Armour. Cracking right hand, and the body shots as well. Ampofo firing in the punches. Two vicious counters with a right hand from Armour. What action!
Well, tremendous action, but Ampofo getting the better of it. Armour now trying to push Ampofo back and let his own punches go.
Every time they get into the ring, these two, they seem determined to produce something better than the last fight.
Ian, I just think it's the styles, they gel so well. Also the temperament, both good competitors.
Heavy hooks from Ampofo in this round, and the body shot too. Armour can't keep him away, not as quick on his feet as he once was, of course. It's tough to be dancing around the edge of the ring like this and trying to fight with lateral movement when you're 33 and after a long old career of over a decade.
Oh, much better work from Ampofo now, putting heavy shots into the body as Armour tries and covers up and weather the storm.
The This is the 26th round between these two over the last couple of years. And most of them have been spellbinding. Great body shot and an uppercut from Ampofo. Different now. Ampofo might have started slowly. He's picked it up now. He's the boss in this round. He's troubling Armour. He's just wasting less punches than he sometimes does too, Ampofo. I think that's something they've been talking about in the gym.
Yes, it's more thoughtful, his work, his approach, attacking as always, just thinking about how he does it more.
Armour, reminder with the right hand. Keep the punches up, says Mickey Van. Blood from the nose of Armour. Not the first or last cut we'll ever have.
And Armour, as he goes back, calls Ampofo in. Ampofo duly obliges, as he always does.
How do these two keep on doing it like this? Ampofo's round. Fans are getting the value tonight, aren't they?
Well, I think that's why there's so many people here. They knew there was going to be value for money. Just loaded up with a big right hook, got him flush on the chin and rocked him right down to his boots. Then a big attack following that from Ampofo.
Stayed on his feet though, Johnny Armour. 28 landed by Ampofo in round 2 to 19 by Armour. That's according to the computer. Great success rate there for Armour, but he still lost the round. Terry Toole there with Mark Rowe, with Johnny Armour, who's been training at the Peacock Gym in East London, locking himself away. Both of them tunnel visioned. I think they're both an absolute credit, don't you?
Yes, they are. They really are. They work so hard in the gym, and when it comes to fights, that's where they really do their business.
Third round. Armour trying to keep Ampofo away with that right lead of his. But he pops a left hook and a right cross too. Ampofo is on the hunt again. Oh, and a big right hand! And that stiffened the legs of Armour, who might go. With one of these, you feel the way this is going at the moment.
Well, he's finding it hard, getting caught time and time again, leaning back on the ropes.
Something's got to give, hasn't it? It's amazing the first two fights went 12 rounds with the intensity and passion involved. Maybe one of them will wilt this time. This time Ampofo, who's rocked a bit by that left hand, staggered him back a yard or so.
Yep, two good punches from Armour there.
Right to right. Now Ampofo's in trouble. Just listen to the roar of the crowd. This is a terrific fight again between these two. Both of them have been hit and hurt.
Well, is that left going to take something out of Ampofo? He's not rushing forward as quickly now.
That's another cracking left hand from Johnny Armour. Surely they cannot do this for another 12 rounds, Ken.
Ian, you didn't think that the first time or the second?
Yeah. Well, I'm just marvelling at it. Oh, right hand! And Ampofo very nearly went from that one. Stayed on his feet. Absolute barnstormer. And now Ampofo's talking to Armour. Come on, then. Looks unsteady on his legs a bit. Does Ampofo?
Well, just pushed back there by Armour. But Armour's got the fire in his belly. He knows he can hurt Ampofo. Rocked him a couple of times in this round.
They both look as if they just want to knock the other guy out. done with it. It's like two guys who are saying, let's settle this little argument once and for all.
Yes, the boxing's gone out of the window a little bit. They both want to win so bad.
Oh dear, that was absolutely magnificent. Well, where to start in showing the highlights of that round? If we showed you the highlights of the round, it'd last another 3 minutes.
Well, there's the highlight of the round for Ampofo, the big right hand that really rocked Armour to the right to his boots, and then he came back with some good shots, getting Ampofo in trouble, and they're just rocking him back on his heels with that two-punch combination. Tremendous action right from the start to the finish of that round, and Armour, for me, getting the better of it.
I've said it before, whatever they're getting paid, not enough. Fourth round, gold trunks of Johnny Armour, the white of Francis Ampofo. Do not go and make a cup of coffee. Ampofo with the right hand. Again, Armour has to take a couple around the head, but he looks so dangerous himself, whipping in that left hand from his southpaw stance. And as Glenn was saying, Ampofo was rocked to the sole of his boxing boots.
Well, he's more upright Armour, so when the overhand rights come in, that's where he can be tagged by shots from Ampofo.
You wouldn't want to call the winner, would you?
No, you wouldn't. You certainly wouldn't. They're both giving everything they've got.
Ampofo not really quite getting his punches off so far in this round. Armour tries to engage him from the centre of the ring, but not for long. He has to back to the ropes again. Francis Ampofo was born without a reverse gear.
Well, that's what makes him such an exciting fighter, a great professional.
Slightly quieter round, but then most rounds would be, wouldn't they, after the last? That third round is one of the great rounds we've seen in British rings in recent years.
Good shots there from Ampofo, just pushing them out, catching Armour.
Steady pressure from Ampofo. He used to call himself the pocket battleship. That was a good nickname too for him.
And a nice body shot from Ampofo there, and then a hook to the head.
Clever little right hook too, though, from Armour as a reminder. How much did that last round take out of the pair of them?
Steadier pressure from Ampofo at this point. He's landing better in this round.
Ampofo for me in this session so far. Welcome back to Brentwood. Still to come, Colin Dunn's WBU lightweight title defence tonight. In the ring, this WBU Bantamweight Championship fight. And a splendid one too between Johnny Armour and Francis Ampofo. For the third time, they've served up a thriller.
Yep, and a better round for Ampofo. These rounds that you've shown on my card, one way, then the other. I've got a dead level. But it really is a cracking contest.
2 rounds apiece. Armour starts fast, round 5. Gold trunks. Armour was a tearaway in his youth. Put him with the wrong crowd by his own admission. But he's always been value as a professional boxer. Proud Commonwealth and European champion. Ampofo, a British and Commonwealth champion. Which way does this one tilt next? Armour slick with the jab when he's allowed to be.
Yes, he's trying to move, but then Ampofo gets little combinations off like that.
Ampofo's corner were urging him to throw straight rights.
Well, so far it's the hooks that have been the most effective for Ampofo.
That's his usual style of attack, isn't it? Winging away with hooks. Teaching him, I think, to be a little more economic with them.
Well, that way he can maybe load up more Ian and get more power into the single shot. He's been outboxed a bit at the moment by Armour.
In this round, yeah. Armour successfully keeping it at long range behind his right lead and then whipping in the left hand too. And Ampofo just looking a bit bemused by that.
Yeah, a couple of nice straight lefts for Ampofo to think about.
But just when you think one fella's beginning to really take control of the fight, it always veers back the other way. That's how it's been with these two. Lovely left hand. Again, that made Ampofo's knees bend as it landed. That left hand from Armour. And a good body shot. And a right hook too, twice over. Good stuff from Johnny Armour in this round.
Yes, he's getting the better of these exchanges, just looking a little tired.
Ampofo, only the ropes kept him up there. No count administered, but he would have gone down without the ropes. So that was a debatable one. Armour here, can he finish it? Ampofo having to suck it up, and he's in trouble.
Well, he's picking all the good shots. Armour really finding the angles and getting the shots in. And a big round for Armour.
Huge round for Armour. Maybe the big breakthrough round in the whole three-fight trilogy.
Close your eyes. Well, just getting the shots off well, just a few hooks there. He would have been over with those quick hooks had the ropes not kept them up.
Should a count have been administered then?
Well, there certainly could have been a reason for doing that. It was punches that had him like that.
The only question is, was it a punch that sent him there against those ropes?
Well, there's the answer. Certainly looked like it to me. One, a little bit, the final one, a little bit inside the glove.
Seemed to land with the wrist, didn't it?
Yep, Mickey Van may have just spotted that and given the benefit of the doubt.
Considerable benefit, it has to be said. Mark Rowe, who trained Julius Francis for his big fight with Mike Tyson. Now round 6. Can Armour come back again? Don't bet against it. These two men are gladiators. Believe it.
But at this point, Armour is looking sharp, getting his shots off well.
And it goes down this time from the right, but it's only a slip. There was a right hand thrown just before. Again, no count. At the moment, Armour just seems to have taken Ampofo's measure, working very hard behind these right hands, and then whipping in the left. And at the moment, just at the moment, Ampofo doesn't seem to have an answer. Maybe he'll come up with one.
But he just keeps coming forward. That's the hard thing for an opponent of Ampofo's. What do? Mentally takes it out of you.
missing more, though. Just getting a little ragged in his work, Ampofo, at the moment. Armour's got the quicker hands, hasn't he?
Yes, he's got the hand speed, getting the shots off. The better accuracy is also with Armour.
There's a danger maybe with Armour that he'll punch himself out. He's put so much into the last 4 minutes or so. The heads banging together in close. Armour has a word with the referee about that. Watch it. They've been complaining all night, the Johnny Armour corner, about Ampofo's head. It is a problem for his opponents. He does come in head first.
Yes, he does. 3 times the head cracked into the face of Armour. And, you know, he was right to look at the referee. There's a right hand from Ampofo, still rolling forward.
Tremendous left uppercut. Then a body shot from Armour. And then another right into the ribcage. The better work in this phase of the fight coming from Johnny Armour. Again the heads. And there might have been an elbow landed as well, I think.
Well, he still keeps coming forward, Ampofo, with hard shots, with sharp shots, all with Armour, but it's hard when you've got an opponent who's just in front of you all the time.
Terrific stuff again, but Armour's round.
So walk around, don't dance. Stay tight, suck in. You know that come fresh. Yeah. Suck in, bang bang. Now listen, get them shots in. When you hit into that body.
Mark Rowe. Now let's have a look at this incident where Ampofo goes down, not counted as a knockdown.
Well, he caught him, but I think he lost his footing a little bit there. I think it was a bit of a slip.
Was ruled as such. Round 7 into the second half of the fight. Good left hand from Ampofo, who's looked a little bit ponderous and sluggish. And has started to waste more punches over the last couple of rounds, but maybe he'll come through it to take control again. I wonder how hard both of these two found it to get up for a third fight.
Well, it's what they do. You know, this is their business. This is what they're trained to do. So you've got to do it. But it is difficult, you know, when you're having returns and a third one of the...
Oh, there's no doubt about that one. Left hand, and Francis Ampofo is down. It was a superb shot from Armour, who's fighting quite superbly at the moment. Ampofo down. Is he on the brink of defeat?
Well, the signs that the legs are going a little bit of Ampofo's with that knockdown.
Yeah, just when you're thinking that a fighter may be on his last legs, back he comes to prove you wrong. Another body shot and a right hand from Ampofo in there as well.
There's two right,
didn't it? That hurt Armour.
2 right hands as Armour was trying to set himself.
The pendulum swings again. That's knocked a bit out of Armour and might lift Ampofo, who'd gone through a very bad patch in the fight, including a visit to the canvas.
Well, he's coming back well now. Ampofo putting the shots in.
He really is. There's another right hand, though, from Armour. Ampofo has to duck his head through the ropes.
Well, what about this here? They're doing it all over again. Good round.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Excellent.
2 of the longest serving pros in the country, who've seen most things in the business.
Good right hand there, just seemed to dip the knees of Ampofo.
These are what you call professional boxers, and I would underline the word professional. swollen around the left eye to Ampofo, who had to take another heavy-looking left hand from Armour. Good body shot too. And Armour's hand speed is decisive and his greater accuracy, and he seems to be the one who's that bit more up for it to me this time, as if he's trying to prove to the boxing world, look, you got it wrong when you said I was lucky the first 2 times.
Yes, he looks as if he's gritting his teeth more. You know, he's got that extra sharpness, that extra aggression to pull it out when he needs to. There's the straight left, just drilled right down the middle, just putting Ampofo down on the seat of his pants.
Now this would normally be scored a 10-8 round, but let me tell you, under the WBU rules, not necessarily so, apparently. Well, they don't have to score it 10-8.
They don't have to. I think they should. It was a good knockdown and a good solid round from Armour. And for me, that's a 10-8 round and a good round for Johnny Armour.
That seems to me like a nonsensical rule.
Well, it does, but you know, so many of these good bodies just seem to do exactly what they please.
Well, I wish they wouldn't. I've scored it 10-8 anyway, that last round to Armour. This is the 8th.
Yep, the 8th round, and I've got Armour getting a handy lead, 68-64, 4 points ahead now, so Ampofo's got a bit to do.
Elbows Ampofo away from him almost. Armour there. A battle of wills and desire. Again, clash of heads. Again, Ampofo dangerously leading with his head. Not as good tonight as he was in the second fight, Ampofo. Just not breathing quite as much fire. Armour is breathing plenty of it.
Ampofo certainly not as busy as he was in the last fight.
And Armour a bit more prepared to stand his ground on those ropes and fire back, isn't he?
Yes, Armour's looking better than in the last encounter. You know, he's got a little bit more fire in his belly, as if he's the one with more to prove.
So when's the 4th fight then?
Well, I don't think I can stand it in mind them.
Oh, that's a great right hand from Armour. Brought it up through the middle. And then the body shot, mixing it up well. This is a man who's been around the gyms a long time, Johnny Armour, but Ampofo again plows forward. Left eye beginning to, right eye rather, beginning to swell up and close a bit of Ampofo.
Still, he tries to get these short little shots inside off and succeeds with that one through the middle.
Not much head movement from Ampofo. That's why Armour's finding it so easy to rifle in those shots from range.
The jab working well against that eye that's ever swelling, that left eye.
Armour comparatively unmarked for once.
And this looks at this stage that this is getting hard for Ampofo.
Right hand from Ampofo at the end of the round, but Armour is as much in control as either of them have been in the 3 fights. A decade ago that Johnny Armour won the Commonwealth title and made 5 defences of that championship. 1 defence to of the European later on.
We've just seen the better, more accurate work coming from Johnny Armour.
Armour has got 3 children to support. Needs the boxing to pay the rent. very close together. I wonder that Armour hasn't cut up again, as he so often has in the past.
Yes, Armour's skin seems to be getting better as he gets older, unlike most fighters.
Ampofo's eyes are closing up, left and right. The left looks worse.
There's a little uppercut going in there from Ampofo.
I joked about the fourth fight. I don't think these two should be asked to fight each other again, whatever the result. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I think that they're giving up to each other.
Point deduction now for use of the head, Francis Ampofo. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, I agree with you and the referee, and it's a good one. I think he has used that head a bit too much.
Ampofo falling behind on the cards already, loses another point. Things getting a bit desperate for him at the moment. Armour's probably won the last 4 rounds.
He's trying to hammer in these big body shots, Ampofo.
Another right hand. It's not quite done with yet, Ampofo. Going to the body, 2 right hands, 3 right hands. Ampofo nods at Armour, as if to say, come on then, all right.
Still the classiest shots from Johnny Armour, the extra speed.
Well, just imagine the fitness and conditioning needed for these guys after their long careers to get themselves in shape to fight like this. You can only admire.
35 and 33 respectively. And they're still doing it like this.
Great shot to the body. Looks like a cut developing for Armour by the left eye. Nothing too serious, I don't think, at the moment. Largely the same pattern again. Ampofo pressure, but the shots that matter, most of them coming from Armour still. Still to come, Colin Dunn fighting against Esteban Morales of Colombia tonight, WBO lightweight title defense. Colin is backstage now and is going to talk to us.
Yeah, Colin, well used to these big fights now. This is your 7th defence. I mean, you look relaxed. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling very relaxed, you know, comfortable within myself. Looking forward to, you know, getting the first 2 rounds out of the way.
I mean, this Esteban Morales is a bit of a mystery, man. What do you know about him?
Not a lot, you know. I watched the tape once, you know, my trainers watched it a couple of times, and you know, you don't know what sort of fight he's going to fight, you know, whether he's going to be on the back foot or whether he's going to be attacking. So it's not a fight I'm looking to relish, but it's a fight, you know, that has to be won, and that's what I'm here to do.
Thanks, Colin. So, Colin, talking the talk, you'll soon be walking the walk.
Craig Slater there with Colin Dunn. Comes up right after this one. And a timeout here. Nicky is calling for some grease to be wiped away from the eye of Johnny Armour. Is there a way back for Ampofo in this?
Well, there always is. You know, he's got these big looping punches. He's staggered Armour earlier on, and it's whether he can get the shots on to do it again. You know, when the fighters have started to tire, the punches have much more of an effect.
Just lost his balance that time, Ampofo. He's just hoping that these body punches weaken Armour, slow him down, make him more of a target, a stationary one anyway. Going to the body all the time, Ampofo. Still believing, still hoping that he can turn this one around. Frankly, I thought he was robbed, clearly robbed, in the second fight. You could argue about the first one. but Armour is in control of this.
This is educated boxing from Armour, using the jab when he has to, bit of movement, and getting his hands up when Ampofo wants to attack.
It's good pressure from Ampofo though here. He is getting closer. This is where he needs to be, nailed to his chest almost. Just denying Armour the room to work. That's where Armour wants to be, on the outside, spearing out that right jab.
He's had more success in this round, Ampofo, with these body shots, stopping Armour from coming back with a great deal.
Makes you tired watching it, doesn't it?
Well, they do throw so many shots.
Drop the plot, that's it. And again. Bring out. Bring that charge on. That's it. Good.
Classy again from Armour.
What he did to him again. Good.
Just picking it up in the last minute of the round like an old pro, Armour this time, but Ampofo's landed with a few body shots in this round.
Yes, I think he's done more in this round, Ampofo. It's been a steady pressure.
Cracking right hook from Armour. Not so much snap in Ampofo's punches though, noticeably.
No, he looks tired, doesn't he? But very credit to him, he keeps the shots going in. And done more in this round for me, Ampofo.
Yep, I thought first 2 minutes of the round, Ampofo, last minute Armour. So I think Ampofo would shade that. Here's what the computer is saying. The punches landed, 246 by Armour, 217. Much more to the body though by Ampofo, and many more to the head by Armour.
Well, that sounds about right, as Ampofo has concentrated in a lot of rounds just to the body. Did in the last, and it served him well. As you said, in the first 2 minutes, probably did a lot more and won the round for that. So still got a little bit left.
I've got Armour in a 4-point lead.
I've got Armour in a 6-point lead. We really have got him in a big lead there with his smarter boxing.
Round 11. Ampofo the white trunks, the goal of Johnny Armour. The third and surely final meeting between these two. Armour winning the first two in controversial circumstances. Ampofo trying to wipe out the scorecards and render them irrelevant with a late attack.
He's on the lease of life now. Francis Ampofo starting this round very well.
He is. Jimmy Tibbs claps his hands alongside me and waves Ampofo in. Best for a while this from Ampofo. Armour has to hold it all together. He must sense that he's in a handy lead too. Still fighting, almost one-eyed, Ampofo. That left eye is just asleep now.
No, we're not getting out of the way of many of these.
Sustained attack from Ampofo, almost fighting on instinct. What a brave, gutsy little warrior he is. Armour's slowed up a bit. Just getting outworked by Ampofo a little. That's a lovely little right hand, mind you, from Armour. Slapping, I thought, there with the inside of the glove with those last two.
Yes, he was a little bit trying to get two hooks off straight away. Just a little bit inside of the glove.
Three judges scoring at ringside.
Nice clean shot there with that right hand from Armour.
Ampofo with a point deducted, remember, as well.
him in. Ampofo has really been fired up in this round. Good shots from Ampofo.
Oh, and that hook really set the eyes in orbit of Armour, who's hit by another one of them. Takes it too. Goodness me, whatever next. Great effort from Ampofo in that round. Where did he pick all that from?
Well, we said he didn't start that fast. Maybe that's been a plan to finish much, much stronger.
Still think he needs the knockout, doesn't he now, Ampofo?
Yes, I think he does, but he was trying for there, and there's a couple of times he rocked him, and you know, he'll still feel the knockout is a possibility, and with left hooks like that, it may well be. Tremendous punch, took an awful lot out of Johnny Armour, really winding up and just got him on the edge of the chin a little bit higher up. He may have done the trick.
Well, that punch is landed. Armour more. 18 more, says the computer. Last round of what's been another titanic clash between these two. Just when you thought Armour was coasting home, Ampofo really rocked him in the 11th.
Well, my God, he needs a knockout. 5 points clear, 106 to 101. And that's in Armour's favour. What has Ampofo got left?
I've got something similar. Crowd on their feet here in this Brentwood centre as Ampofo throws in everything. Again, another head clash. There've been seemingly 100. Two old-fashioned boxing heroes. They really are. It's another fight of the year candidate. Particularly rounds 3 and 11, I would single out.
Well, he's still pushing forward so hard. Wants this so much, Francis Ampofo. But Johnny Armour just can't get back by
that, wasn't he? That left hand. The crowd enraptured by this. You couldn't choreograph entertainment like this in the movies. This is pure sporting theatre between these two.
Well, tremendous work from both of them right to the very end.
And Armour sticks with it despite Ampofo throwing in absolutely everything in a heroic late effort to salvage it. But if Armour stays on his feet, we think he'll have done enough to win and beat Ampofo for a third time.
Well, a flashy barrage of punches from Armour.
You can hardly hear yourself thinking here. Salute both of them. They've done it again.
Well, tremendous action, both throwing punches. The seconds being counted down.
Well, I said, could they do it for 12 rounds again? They have, almost incredibly. It's all over, a mutual embrace, and I'm sure those two in times to come will chat over a pint or two about their famous 3 fights together. Armour lifted aloft, and I think no doubt this time he's won it.
Well, there shouldn't be any doubt. A clear winner. He did a lot more. He really was on good form. Finished with a cut eye, but he did box a great fight there, Johnny Armour. And 4 points ahead on my card.
I've got it by for Ampofo. 3 judges to score: Des Floyd, Glenn Feldman from the United States, Floyd, by the way, from Australia, and Howard Goldberg of South Africa. Computer says that Ampofo threw over 1,000 punches to Armour's 746, but Armour landed more for a very good 40% success rate. Computer doesn't tell the whole story, far from it. Armour looked a clear winner to us, but we thought Ampofo won the other 2.
Well, that's right. So you never know, do you?
You never know. We've learned to take nothing for granted.
Well, 115, 111, that's how I have a clear winner for Johnny Armour. Cleaner punching throughout for me.
Did you take the point off, by the way?
I did.
Yeah, okay. You still had it by 4. I had it by 6 in the end for Armour. And they think they've won in that corner. You could see the way Mark Rowe lifted Johnny Armour aloft at the end of it. They are 2 incredible gladiators. Well done, the pair of them, however it's scored.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your chance now to show your appreciation to 2 fantastic warriors. That was 12 rounds of boxing. A full credit to both boxers. Well, the judges' scorecards are ready. Judge Glenn Feldman scored the contest 113, 113. Des Floyd scored the contest 115, 111. Howard Goldberg scored the contest 115, 111. Your winner, and still...
Armour's won it for a 3rd time, and rightly so. Justice done. Can't see for the life of me how Glenn Feldman of the United States saw that as a level fight. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no idea, Ian. A second that. 115, 111, had it.
Well done to Johnny Armour. Very much hard luck to Francis Ampofo. Great stuff again. Great stuff.
They've still got a few rematches to come before they rival Ted Kid Lewis and Johnny Basham around the time of the First World War. But the rivalry between these 2 is also surely going to go into British boxing history in its own right. Could they ever do it again? I tell you, at ringside tonight, Spencer, I'm actually humbled by the commitment and dedication, fitness and desire of both men. Don't forget, Colin Dunn's still to come, but just briefly give us an appreciation of what you've seen there.
I mean, the first contest was amazing, the second one even better, and I think we've just seen the third and best one. From the effort from both boys is just amazing. Johnny Armour, actually I thought he did win that contest, but the commitment by Francis Ampofo, again, tremendous. What an excellent contest. We might not see better this year.
You're probably right. Johnny Armour, was that the best he has fought in each of the 3 fights?
Definitely the best he's fought. He looked sharper and he was committing himself, really throwing those shots with venom. He wasn't punching to the target, he was going through the target and looked in tremendous condition, and by far the best performance from him.
And did that sway it conclusively? Well, except in the case of one judge, yeah, conclusively.
Yeah, Francis Ampofo, I had to lose him by 2 rounds, but Ampofo was doing the busier work. He was throwing the punches, but the sharper work coming from Johnny Armour.
Can Francis Ampofo possibly follow that, given that he's lost again, and he's now lost 5 in a row?
Well, we could possibly see a 4th one, because I know everybody would pay for it.
Let's hear from our winner, and maybe Francis will come and join us as well.
Well, after 36 rounds of boxing with Francis Ampofo, we finally get a clear win for you, Johnny. It surely was the win of your life.
Oh, I was so glad to get this one over with. It was like after all the critics last time, and it was so close, I just thought, I've got to do it this time, clearly. And I did, and I broke my hand as well, I think.
What on earth did both of you go through for another titanic battle? Probably the best of the 3. I mean, I don't know which was your favourite.
I think this one was about the favourite, I think. But he's a tough battler. I stick my hand out to him. He's a great, strong, fit fighter. But I just wanted so much more. Me and my kids, I just want to say hello to my little Lacey, Shannon and Kai back home as well. Thanks.
I think he wanted it just as much as you did, Johnny. Do you ever want to see him again, maybe for a drink?
Please God, that's the last time, I hope.
Thank you very much, and congratulations, Francis.